Hey there, chummers. We are live, it looks like. All right. So, this is live stream number 2. So, yeah, I did one last week. I had fun with it. So, I'm going to do it again this week. And before I get people coming in, I'm just going to share everything on my social media. So, just bear with me just a tick. Gotta share everything, of course, on Twitter and all the social media, which there's got to be an easy way to do it. But, whatever. I'm a little technologically challenged. So, meh. I'll just do it manually. Gotta share it to the Discords as well. Hey, Bogo and Bogu and Hobby Panda. Hobby Panda, I am welcoming you, but I don't speak your language, so I don't know what you typed. But I'm sure it was fabulous. So, for those of you joining us today, I've got a couple of mechs that I'm going to be working on. Per the description, I have 2 mechs that I'm going to be working on. I'm going to be finishing up a summoner for a Kell Hounds commission that I'm working on. And then I've also got a Hatamoto Suna for my filthy Dracs. So this is the summoner, painted mostly using speed paints, because that's how I do all my painting. Because speed paints freaking rock. Actually, I lied. I use Vallejo Express color for the red. So yeah, lied a little bit there. And then we got the Hatamoto Suna right here. A very Korean mech for a very Korean force. I'm going to be doing him up in the Sword of Light. And just kind of having some fun here. So, these streams still haven't decided if they're going to become regular or not. It might become a regular thing. It might not. I might just do it when the need strikes me, when the urge strikes me, or I might just I might do them every week. I don't know. Either way, whoever's here, go ahead. Make sure if you haven't, toss a like to the stream, because the algorithm loves any sort of engagement with anything, especially live streams, though. And a like is going to help people find the channel and help up the subscriber count, which, of course, is going to allow me to do a lot more stuff. So right now, I'm just kind of slopping plasma red speed paint everywhere on this bad boy. Not being too careful. I know you can't really see too well because the webcam is... I'm using a crappy webcam. Thank you, Hobby Panda. I appreciate that. Beautiful. Okay. Okay, I think I'm back. OBS disconnected on me for some reason. I don't know why. Said it had an excellent connection, then I got a notice from YouTube that, oh, OBS disconnected. Okay. All right. Whatever. Just make sure OBS is still going. Yeah, it's still going. Okay. Yeah, I'm still very new to the whole streaming thing. I did a little bit of streaming years ago on Twitch. And a little bit here on YouTube, and I just kind of fell out of the habit of doing it because I don't know, because it got to number one, I hate painting to the camera, and I felt like that's what I was doing. And number two, it just got to feel like work. So yeah, it might be low bandwidth. I don't know. Who knows? My internet is special sometimes. I use Spectrum and it's usually good, but every now and again it just decides to crap out on me. So anyway, like I was saying, for anybody who has not seen the channel before, I mostly focus on Shadowrun tabletop RPG content. However, I am going to be branching out into other tabletop RPGs. I am actually kind of sort of in a partnership with Free League, in that I asked them for some review copies of some stuff, and they sent me more than I expected. So I am going to be doing some reviews of some Free League stuff because their stuff is just freaking cool. I already reviewed the Blade Runner RPG, which is very, very, very pretty RPG. Everybody should buy it just for the art, I think. Yeah, Shadowrun, of course, is my bread and butter. It is my favorite RPG. I've played it since high school, since I was 14, I think. Oh, Cthulhu Tech, yes. Um, I've never played Cthulhu Tech. I have read the books for Cthulhu Tech though. I had planned on running it at some point. I just never. It's just one of those things I just never got around to for whatever reason. But I love me some Cthulhu Tech. Um, I'm a big H.P. Lovecraft fan as well, and Cthulhu Tech just kind of scratched that itch with some cyberpunk mecha Lovecraftian horror. I've heard good things about it. I've heard some really good things about Cthulhu Tech. It's just like I said, I just never got around to actually running it. Maybe one day though. Maybe one day. That might actually be a game that I'm gonna have to do a review for. I need to dig out my PDFs for that though. My digital copies. Yeah, exactly, Hobby Panda. It's like Evangelion mixed with Cthulhu, but it also there's also the ability to play a more cyberpunky uh, game as well. Um, it has the oh god, what were like the were Cthulhu creatures called, the ones that turned into the players that turn into the monsters, taggers, I think is what they were called. But yeah, if you run a I'll just call them taggers because I'm pretty sure that's what they were called. But yeah, if you run a campaign, if you ran a campaign where everybody was a tagger, you could actually run a fairly cyberpunky game, kind of like a almost like a Shadowrun. Traeger, yeah, it's something, yeah, something like that. Yeah, and I mean, there's nothing saying that you couldn't combine the taggers with the mechas. Although, if I recall, it was a little difficult on doing that because taggers, of course, your stats are going to be focused towards that sort of thing, and it's going to be hard to kind of do anything else. Yeah, very very much so. Very much reminded me of Werewolf the Apocalypse. It definitely had that kind of vibe to it. That's probably another RPG that I'm gonna have to review because that was a cool RPG. So I'll put that on the list of the mountain of stuff that I have to take a look at. All right, so the Hadamato Suna, he's got his first coat of Vallejo Express Color Plasma Red. I'm gonna let this dry, and I'm gonna do another coat to get a nice deep, rich red color. So now, in the meantime, we will go ahead and move over to the summoner and just kind of block out the metal parts on this bad boy. Werewolf source books come very cheap now. Do they? Are we talking? Are we talking Apocalypse, like mid-90s stuff, or are we talking about the New World of Darkness stuff? Apocalypse, you could probably actually, yeah, I could see both being kind of cheap. Matter of fact, let me just check. Let me just take a quick peek at eBay and see what eBay says. If I could spell apocalypse right, there's no Z in apocalypse. Well, there should be. Oh, okay. Well, the first first thing I pull up is Werewolf the Apocalypse box set with a bid of 99 cents. Okay. All right. Yeah, I'll go with that. Okay, the Nuisha book, the Were Coyotes is $8. Oh, yeah, not bad. Rokea, $11. Wow. Okay, you can find the source books really cheap. The most expensive one that I'm seeing so far is Rage Across Egypt, which is like $30. But yeah, the hardcover books they're a bit pricey, like between $40 and $50. Um, although there's a lot here with four werewolf books for $40, which it's actually not a bad price. Yeah, okay, okay, you can find it fairly cheap. $159 for the Mind's Eye Theater version. Yikes. A lot of hobby stores want to unload old inventory for cheap. New editions are muted, less faction. Yeah, I did. I've run the newer edition White Wolf stuff before. I've run Changeling. The new change. I love the new Changeling. The new Changeling is really good. But you're right. It is a lot slower paced than the older stuff. Still really good though. And I wish I had hobby stores around me that had old inventory they wanted to unload for cheap. The only one that did went out of business, so make of that what you will. Yeah, Mind Eye is the live action RPG. Though. Yep. I had some friends who were big into that in high school. I played it once or twice and never really got into it. Um, Mostly because I'm lazy, but also because my parents didn't want me playing outside after dark. At least not in at least not in our area. A lot did not survive COVID. Yeah, a lot of hobby stores got smacked with COVID. Thankfully, the hobby stores in my area did not. We actually, being in Florida, we actually weathered it pretty well compared to some places. But we did have a hobby store go out of business late last year, I think. It was either late last year or early this year. We basically have a couple of hobby stores in the area. It's like one big chain that's all over the state, and then it's kind of there's like a couple of independents, smaller independents, um, and they survived pretty well. But one of the ones that the one that actually went out of business that had old RPG stuff. They had some old Shadowrun stuff, and I believe they had Cthulhu Tech too at one point. But they had a lot of old White Wolf and Traveler and that sort of thing. They actually went out of business, and they had been in the area for 40 years at least. I remember seeing commercials for them when I was in school. when I was growing up down here. Comic book stores died a lot too. Yep, they did. Yeah, it was that whole thing killed a lot of small businesses. And it drove a lot of people more towards like online than rather than playing in person because no one wanted to play in person, of course. So, you know, but hopefully now that all of that is done, we might start to see people coming back. We might start to see some stores maybe opening, maybe coming back a lot more, maybe a lot more people starting some newer stores. I know there's a newer store that opened just down the street from the one that I play Battletech at, actually. They opened up a couple of weeks ago, from what I remember. So hopefully that's a good sign. I know it's going to be dependent on everything in every area. Online TTRPGs less. Yeah, I don't fault people for playing online. You can play however you want. Yeah, online stuff is just it's not for me. It's really not. I need to be actually like in the space in the moment in order to do well in an RPG. Plus, you know, my house is not really conducive for me playing online at the hours that people play. I've got like six people that live in my house. I've got a kid, and all of that translates into me not being able to really do online stuff very much. Yeah, RPGs are definitely a social affair, without a doubt. You get a little bit of that social aspect online, but not much of it. Which, again, I don't fault people for wanting to play online. I completely understand online can be the way to go, especially if you can't find a group. If you're in like an area that maybe doesn't have a lot of people playing RPGs, or if like you've got a group that you've moved away from and you want to keep in touch with, or maybe if you've got like just a not so friendly local game store, because they are out there. There are local game stores that are not very friendly at all. So those folks I can definitely understand the draw of online play, but it just loses something for me when you play online. And I know it's like that for a lot of people too. All right, blocking in the metals on this guy. So this bad boy is for a commission. Local Battletech player loves my painting and wanted me to paint him some Kell Hounds. So I was like, oh, okay, why not? If you're gonna pay me and give me some hobby scratch, then I will go ahead and paint stuff for you. Before COVID, we would go to Costco first, buy drinks, pizzas. Oh, that sounds really cool. You know, I miss that. I miss that aspect of RPGs. When I was a kid, um, we used to play over at a friend's house, and we would literally make a weekend of it. Like I would go there on Friday after school, and then we would just game until like Sunday evening when our parents came to come pick us up, and we would make food runs because he had a 7-Eleven that was like probably like half a mile or so from his house. And we'd make food runs over there, and there was a Hardee's too. So like, and they were open 24 hours. So we'd be playing at like 3 in the morning, and we just kind of decide to go down to Hardee's and get some grub, and then we go eat, come back, and keep on playing and then pass out and do the whole thing again in the morning. I miss that. Can't really do that now. Adulting is has kind of taken over, so it'd be nice to be able to do that again, but what can you do? What can you do? I must say I've never been to Costco, but I've heard good things about their pizza. Like a bunch of people I work with, they all rave about about Costco pizza. Alrighty. Let's see. Now, what else do I need to do? So I'm gonna kind of block out the other metal parts. There's a cinema where you buy popcorn by buckets. That sounds really fun. I haven't been to the movies since Godzilla vs. Kong. That was the last movie that I saw. So it's been a while. Fantastic movie, though. And by fantastic, I mean it was absolutely horrible. But if you love Godzilla, it was a decent enough movie. It gave me exactly what it advertised. It advertised a giant monkey fighting a giant lizard, and it gave me exactly that. So can't really complain about it too much. Although they did do Mechagodzilla dirty, I have to say. They did take like one of the most prominent villains of Godzilla and kind of turned him into like a 10-minute boss fight. Guardians 3. I've heard good things about Guardians 3. I've heard if you are sensitive to animals being hurt and that sort of thing, you probably won't like it. A lot of Godzilla was that's why I love Godzilla. They weren't the best movies by any means. Matter of fact, some of them were downright horrible. There was one that I saw. I can't remember what it was. I think it was like the first of the 90s Godzilla movies. But there was one where there was like a flashback to where the time before Godzilla was irradiated and he was just like a big dinosaur living on an island. And there was like an American battleship sent its crew to the island for whatever reason. For some reason, I don't remember exactly why. But they, of course, were attacked by Godzilla, so they ran. And Ultraman 2, yeah, Ultraman's good. When I was a kid, one of the network TV stations used to play Ultraman very early in the mornings at like 6 o'clock every Saturday morning, and I would get up early and watch it. Yeah, I grew up watching Godzilla movies, monster movie marathons on TNT. But yeah, some of those movies were a little not great, but they were fun. I enjoyed them. Still enjoy them too. If I see a Godzilla movie on TV and I'm channel surfing, I will stop and watch it for at least a little bit. All right. Got the metallics blocked in on this bad boy. E.T. I remember E.T. Yep. Really good movie. I actually have a a record that's the soundtrack of E.T. That's actually framed D&D session. Oh, they were playing D&D and ET, weren't they? I don't. I. It's been a while since I've seen that movie, so I don't remember the exact specifics of it. That. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I don't remember the exact specifics of that movie, but yep, I do remember the D&D session. I don't even remember the last time I saw that movie. Yeah, I have like I have a record that's the soundtrack that's actually in a frame. All right, almost done with the medals on this bad boy. Crap, I did forget to dry brush the black parts though. Ugh, whatever. 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 The dude who's buying it is not going to notice 100%. Unless he's watching the stream. Nor is he likely to care. He, like I said, he likes how I paint. So, and it's going to be it's in a group of models. So one or two mistakes is not going to be the end of the world. All right, now with the Hatamoto Suna, just putting more plasma red on that. I like getting 2 coats of this stuff. So that way I get a deeper red. And then I am going to, once this dries, hit it with some red tone from Army Painter. Give it an even deeper red, because we want that nice cherry red Dracona's Combine sort of light feel to it. Because if I'm going to commit some war crimes, I'm going to look good doing it. Oop, that's not the right paint. From Clanner, hey, all ones. No, it's not a Clanner mech. The Summoner is a Clanner mech, yes. So this one is a Clanner, but he's being painted as a Kell Hound because that's the painting this one as a commission, and that's what the client wanted. He's building an Ill Clan era list. No one does war crimes like that. Exactly, exactly. The Dracs and the Smoke Jaguars, those are like my 2 main factions, other than my Pizza Mechs, and those are the 2 factions that commit the best war crimes. Because if you're going to do it, you're going to do it right. Although I do maintain that Kantari's 4 was they had it coming. It was a policing action as well, but they had it coming. All right, see, we're getting that. It's tough to see on the webcam, but we are getting that deeper red color on the Hatamoto Suna. Which, yes, if you couldn't tell, this is 100% a combine mech. 100%, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It is very Japanese. Hobby Panda, I do prefer the thinner paints, the speed paints, contrast paints, and the Vallejo Express colors, because they're easy to use, and with a little bit of work, you can get them looking really really nice. Um, but if you also just want to like get something on the table, like if I've got something that I'm going to use for a game the next day, or even that same day, I'm going to use speed paints or something like that to get something that looks pretty nice that's tabletop ready. Moratorian, love Dracos and Capellans, and nobody loves Capellans. No, I have to admit, Capellans are one of the more interesting factions just because of all the crap that they've taken over the years from everybody, mostly the Davians. But yeah, I like all the factions. Always thin your paint. Hey, listen, two thin coats. That's what Saint Duncan preaches. Two thin coats. Unless you're using contrast paints, and you just like slap it on there and move it all over the place. Troll factor of liking the Capellans. Yeah, yeah, they are definitely. I will say this though, they do have some pretty cool mechs. Some of the Capellan specific mechs are really bitchin'. Like the Mortis. The Mortis is a really cool mech. Contrast paints are geeks. I honestly, contrast paints are they're a paint that I probably wouldn't recommend for a new person just because they can be tricky to use because of how they react to different things and how they pool and everything. You do have to kind of play with them. Speed paints are much easier to use. They have a tin of old thugs in compelled space. I believe they do use a lot of thugs. Yeah, I believe they do. I'm not 100% sure on that though. I'm not 100% up on Capellan lore. When I was a kid, I basically paid attention to everybody but the Capellans. Actually, when I was a kid, I am almost ashamed to admit that my favorite faction was uh, the Federated Commonwealth. Yeah, I was a Fed rat. Nowadays, though, I'm liking the clans more and more just because the clans have some cool mechs, and the Draconis Combine. Yeah, you gotta love the Irby companies. That is like the ultimate troll formation. It really is. Although, depending on what you're playing, if you're playing Alpha Strike, and you're using concealment, my local group did determine that a company of urban mechs using those rules can be absolutely devastating, and quite frankly, really scary on the tabletop. No one's actually tried it yet, but just because nobody's bought the company, the urban mech company from Catalyst yet, but I might give it a shot. It might be the first. Oh, mech face planted, but nothing broke. Like Davian Steiner, not so much. Yeah, I was always see when I was a kid. My favorite series of books was the Blood of Kerensky trilogy. And I liked Victor Steiner Davian. He was one of my favorite characters, and Kai Allard Leo. He Kai Allard Lau, or however you pronounce. He was my second. Actually, he was my favorite. Victor was my second. So I was a big Fed rat. I also liked Clan Wolf, which I'm ashamed to admit that. I still play classic BattleTech. I play classic BattleTech too, but my group mostly plays Alpha Strike, which actually I like Alpha Strike. I don't know if I like it better than Classic, but it does different things for me than Classic does. Classic is great if I want a really crunchy knockdown drag out fight with a small amount of mechs. Alpha Strike is really good if you're looking to do company or larger, or if you just want a quick game of BattleTech. Most of my buddies sided with Steiner in the Civil War, so I got to play a lot of David versus Steiner Civil War. Hell yeah, that's awesome. So I'm gonna go to my other desk really quick, grab some more paint, because I can't get all the paints I need in one go, of course. Yeah, I have to say, when I was a kid, we really didn't play with factions very much. We didn't really use clans a whole lot because people didn't like them because the technology was so much farther ahead of the Innersphere. It wasn't really fun for us. Um, but yeah, we didn't really have factions necessarily. In my group today, we actually have an eclectic mix of factions. We have a lot of clanners, but we also have, let's see, there's a Davian player. There's at least one Capellan who I think he does McCarran's Armored Cavalry. And then we've got at least one other Cretan. And then we got just a crap load of mercs. Like seriously, almost everybody plays at least one merc company, just because it's easy as hell to build like an official list through the master unit list. You don't really have to worry a whole lot about being limited or anything like that. Yeah, I mean, clan only or Intersphere game or fights with break. Yeah, yeah. A lot of people back in the day got pretty salty about clans versus Intersphere. The group that the when I was in middle school, actually, when I first started playing BattleTech, I started playing in a club at school. We met weekly every Monday, and somebody actually asked if we were going to be using Clan Tech, and they said no. The teachers running the club said absolutely not. We're not doing clans. And they were like, and the kid was like, why? And one of the teachers was like, because clans are bullshit. And of course, classroom of sixth graders are like, ooh. Battletech historical missions. That sounds pretty fun. Boo clans, yeah. Yeah, I do have to say the teachers that were running the club were pretty cool. They did teach us well. Yes, they taught us to hate clanners as much as they do. Actually, fun fact: I used to be a teacher myself years ago. Never going back there ever again. But I actually did interview um, at my old middle school for a teaching position that opened up there, and one of the people who interviewed me, because there was a panel of like 3 or 4 people that interviewed me, but one of the people that interviewed me was one of the teachers that ran that club, because he was, and actually, even more fun fact, I was interviewing for his position because he was retiring. So he was all gung ho to hire me on so somebody else could carry on the torch, but I ended up not getting the job. So yeah, whatever. 15 minute Flames of War versus Battletech. Using the Battletech World War II rules. That sounds bitchin', actually. That sounds like a really fun game. I don't know how I don't know how exactly that would work out. I would think Flames of War might not win against some mechs, but that does sound really fun. There's actually at this club every year we did an end of year battle. It was fun, a fun game having 3D print. Yes, 3D printers do make games a lot more fun when you throwing my brush around. 3D printers do make games a lot more fun because you can get different minis, especially BattleTech. There's so many STLs out there. It's just, and you can scale them however you want. Really, there's not really it like changing a mech to 15 millimeter scale is not that big of a deal with a 3D printer when it works. I have a 3D printer that does not work, and I have not had the motivation to fix it. I I do need to fix it though. I need to start printing out more stuff, more vehicles and crap like that. It's fun. We also had some other support units for the mech for the Flames of War. So was it like it was like Flames of War tanks versus one mech? That's generous. Yeah, I just need to get off my ass and actually fix my printer. I got a little Photon S, which bought it on sale. Not really the best. Not really the best printer out there. It's had a lot of problems over the years. I had it for a week, and then the screen broke. And by broke, I mean it literally stopped working. And then I had it for 6 more months before the screen broke again. Then I had it for 2 months before the screen broke a third time. So, needless to say, I am now an expert at replacing screens. A Lance plus some support unit versus all my buddies' Germans. That sounds really fun. I like that. They had to slow down the mechs and get Hitler off the road. The mech had to. That sounds really freaking cool. That sounds like it was a really fun game. Sending some Battletech mechs to go kill Hitler while everybody else has to keep him alive, keep the giant stompy robots from destroying him. That's that. I like that sort of stuff. Oh, need another paint. I forgot my black wash. Oh. That's what sucks about my setup. I've got a bigger desk that I normally paint on, but I've got a small computer desk that I stream at. And the small computer desk does not have a lot of space on it. So, of course, I can't keep my painting stuff on it and use the computer at the same time. So I have to keep all my stuff on my regular painting desk. And I tend to forget stuff and leave it over there and have to jump back and forth. And, yeah, whatever. It's small price to pay for being comfortable. Our backstory was a misjump sent the mech to World War II, so they got drunk and decided to kill her. I mean, yeah, that's sounds like something that a bunch of mech warriors would do if they got sent back to World War II. Hoping to get a paint streaming space after I get. Yeah, it would be nice to have like a dedicated space for it, but I think for that I'd have to get a bigger house. Which is not going to happen anytime soon, unless, the channel goes viral and takes off and I get monetized and become the PewDiePie of Shadowrun gaming, but it's not going to happen. But hey, you never know. Never say never. Actually, as long as I am comfortable painting and being on it and being on camera at the same time, I will be happy. That's why I stopped streaming years ago. Because, like I said earlier, I used to stream on Twitch a little bit, and I stopped doing it because I couldn't find a comfortable way to paint on camera. That's also why I haven't done any miniature painting videos really, because I can't get comfortable on camera. But this setup I've got right now seems to be going all right. The second time I've done it, I can keep the mini close enough to me that I can see what I'm doing, but I can also keep it on camera, even though I got a shitty webcam. It seems like people can mostly see what I'm doing. Hey, R. McDud Mark II, how's it going? Never missed with Twitch. Yeah, so Twitch is interesting. I got it in my head a couple years ago that I could be a Twitch streamer and maybe make some money doing some painting, which, theoretically I could do. But again, having a comfortable painting space is a really big factor. And that was part of the reason why I quit doing it. But Twitch was interesting. It's easy to use, but the Streamlabs software is not really intuitive. So, and I am not the kind of person who will like sit down and learn new software or anything. Well, thank you all ones. Yeah, it's been fun. It's been great. I like doing the painting. I do the painting every day. It centers me. I like doing the videos. It's fun seeing that subscriber count go up. Got locked out of your account, so you had to make a new one. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Well, welcome to the stream. Just painting some mechs. We got a Hatamoto Suna right here, variant of the Hatamoto Chi, which is a very, very Kuritan mech. There's literally no mistaking where this mech is from when you see it on the battlefield. And then we got this summoner here, part of a Kell Hound's commission. I think I have 4 mechs left to do in this commission. I want to say. Maybe 3. Slowed down making stuff. I'm doing an international. Yeah, no, that is understandable. That is completely understandable. Moving slows down anything, but when you're moving internationally, I imagine that just makes everything 10 times worse. Last time I moved, it was a nightmare. And I was just moving across town. Mark II indicates more virtual memory. There you go. I like that. So let's. Oh! Actually, I can kind of give everybody here a little bit of update on what's going on with the channel. So I published a new Shadowrun video yesterday, and I published a Blade Runner RPG review video. Yes, last week. So I actually am sort of kind of partnering with Free League. And by partnering, I mean I asked them to send me some review stuff, and they sent me a shitload more than I thought. So, needless to say, I literally I have some physical copies on the way of some of their books, and I have digital copies of pretty much all of their core books. So, I'm going to be doing some Free League reviews coming up here. We're gonna be branching out into some other independent RPGs, and I'm actually going to be reviewing. Actually, just before starting the stream, I actually just filmed a review on Cyborg, which it's a freaking cool game. It's a really cool game. They're doing some good games like Twilight 2000 and Tales from the Loop. Yeah, I've seen Tales from the Loop in my friendly local game store before. Never really quite understood what it was. Twilight 2000, of course, I remember that from like the older version of the game. But yeah, I've got all their stuff. Got a lot. Yes, Hobby Panda, I have a crap load of content to put out. There's going to be so much, and they didn't give me. They were very nice about it. I kind of emailed them, just wanting to see what they would say. You know, I figure, okay, worst case scenario, they tell me no, and I just kind of shuffle off, and I buy some of their stuff anyway, because I had been planning to get the Alien RPG, especially because I love the Alien movies, up to the third one. Even the third Alien is all right. Not one of my favorites, but it's not terrible if you ignore the fact that they killed off Newton Hicks. And then we don't talk about any of the other Alien movies really. Tales from the Loop is much like an RPG in the same vein as Goonies and Strange. Yes, yeah, I took a little look at that when they sent the digital copies of the stuff. So it's definitely on my list because I think it's going to be interesting. That one and Tales from the Flood also looks interesting. Yeah, exactly, McDud. 3 wasn't a great movie, but it wasn't a horrible movie. It was better than like 90% of the stuff that Hollywood's putting out now, and certainly was better than Prometheus, which Prometheus wasn't terrible, but I don't think it knew what it wanted to be. Oh, YouTube took it down due to music. Oh, I hate when that happens. Yeah, I've been very careful myself and haven't had anything taken down due to music just yet because I don't really use music. But yeah, I know I've had some friends that have had that happen to them, and yeah, that's just ugh, hate it when that happens. Ooh, bunch of '80s tunes. Well, I mean, that's the kind of thing you want to put in a game like that. I mean, that's like a tailor made for it. It was yeah, it was better than better. Okay, so Resurrection gets a bad rap, but part of the issue with Resurrection was the director quit halfway through. And you can kind of pinpoint where that happened. I believe everything from the scene when she's playing basketball with them, I believe all of that is the new director. So it didn't help that movie that it had two directors in it. Um, I think if they had stuck with the first director, if he hadn't quit, he either quit or he was fired, whatever. But if they hadn't gotten rid of the first director, I think it would have been a much better movie. That said, it wasn't completely horrible. It was watchable. I will watch it on TV if I see it. I just won't go out of my way to find it. Yeah, the '80s that never was. Yeah, yeah. And from the Flood is in the same type of game, but in the '90s, if I believe. So it's like a decade newer. But I'm definitely gonna be checking those out because I love me some Goonies. Same thing happened with Mad Max. Yeah, yeah. Same thing did happen with Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. It kills the movie when that happens, but you know, at least we got an okay movie out of it. We didn't get a great movie. We didn't get a bad movie. We got an okay movie out of it. Yeah, no, all ones I've been reading through the Aliens core book. Number one, the biggest draw for Free League for me is their art. Their art in all of their books is absolutely phenomenal. The Runner RPG, literally, the artwork looks like it looks like it could have come from the movie. It really does. The first movie, not the sequel. Um, and the Alien RPG is no exception. I mean, honestly, if you don't play, even if you don't play Free League games, if you have no intention of playing their games, buy them just for the art, and you won't regret it. You won't waste your money if you buy them just for the art, just to have them like on your coffee table and that sort of thing. Worst script and best cast. Yes. Yes, McDonough. I will agree with that. Alien Resurrection did have a horrible script, but some of the best actors in it. It really did. And their version of Twilight 2000 Red Dawn the RPG, aka Red Dawn the RPG, that's interesting. That's interesting. All ones. I'll have to check it out. I have the core book for it. I did not know that you could run it as a tabletop war game though. That's very interesting. You don't really see that very often. It's usually only one or the other, um, unless you're talking like Stargrave and that sort of thing, which have like some RPG elements to them. Yeah, Freely Guard is it's amazing. I don't know which demon they sold their souls to for that much talent, but definitely kudos to them. Ugh, it's just awesome. I did have one quibble with the Cyborg book though, and it's not even really a quibble. It's just something that I had to get used to. The artwork in the Cyborg rule book is so jarring and disjointed in a lot of places that it actually distracted from reading the book itself, which is not a bad thing necessarily. And I think that's the intention of that style of artwork is to, like, you open the book, it smacks you in the face, and it keeps smacking you, it doesn't let up, and you kind of got to split your attention, almost like it's kind of simulating being bombarded with, augmented reality ads in real life. But once I got used to it, it's an awesome game. I really cannot wait to run it. And I think I'm probably going to do like some character creation videos or something like that as well, just because it's really cool. Yeah, see ya, McDud. Thanks for stopping by. Don't forget to like the stream on your way out and help the channel out. Help us grow. Sadly, most newer RPGs do not... Oh, GDW was a wargame company first. Okay. That's interesting. Yeah, I do agree most newer RPGs don't have the budget for good art. And I think it's probably a combination of, like, good artists being expensive, and also not wanting to spend the money in a lot of cases. A lot of RPGs seem to concentrate more on, like, layout and things like that rather than artwork, which is fine. But in my opinion, if you don't have good art, no one's going to want to buy your book. The art in an RPG isn't an afterthought. It's something that immerses you in the world and gets the imagination going as you're reading the book. Which is one of the reasons why I love Shadowrun art. Especially 2nd and 3rd edition Shadowrun. Shadowrun art does exactly that in a lot of cases. If it's AI art, I would never buy it. Yeah, FASA never really skimped on the art, and just the talent of those artists as well was just phenomenal. Oops, I'm dropping crap again. So AI art, Hobby Panda, it's a tricky thing. Because I know the main issue of AI art is a lot of AI basically goes through the internet and takes bits and pieces out of established artwork, and that's bad, in my opinion. Is it stealing? Maybe. I don't know. It's not an easy question to answer, really. You could make the argument that maybe the AI is more... It's more like it's getting inspired by the art, just like a regular human artist would. But you can also train AIs using your art as well. Learns off of artwork that's produced by you. Yeah, exactly. And, there's an argument to be made that it is stealing, especially if the AI is literally just copy and pasting. But there's also an argument to be made that it can be seen the same way as, somebody emulating another art style or something like that, like an actual human emulating an art style. However, like I said, there are, there's no inspiration. There's no actual inspiration because it's a machine. But, well, for now, it's a machine. If you read some of the things that ChatGPT is doing, I may not be so sure about that. But, there's no actual inspiration. But It's a thorny legal question that people who are paid way more than we ever will be are going to sort out in courts of law. Um, Now, there are AIs that you can train offline using just your stuff. So let's say Catalyst, for example. Let's say Catalyst decides they're going to use AI art, but they're only going to use it for Shadowruns. So they train an AI using their own artwork, their own stuff to basically emulate their Shadowrun stuff. Is that a bad thing? Yeah. Is that a good thing? Yeah. All in all, I think AI is going to be a tool. Once it all quiets down, I think it's going to be a tool. You're going to have some large corporations that are going to focus more on AI, so they don't have to pay people as much. But there's not really any substitute, I think, for actual art made by an actual person. Yeah, you're right. Our work, which is AI generated, cannot be copyrighted. Yeah, that was a more recent case, which was decided in the last couple of months. I want to say maybe late last year, but yes, yeah, U.S. law does say that AI artwork cannot be copyrighted because a lot of it pulls from other established artworks. But again, is AI bad? Is it good? I I don't think it's either one. I think it's a thing. It's a tool. So it depends on how you use that tool. Now, I don't have anything against an artist using AI to say create a background or create it or use it to set a certain mood or something like that, and then modifying that and putting their own stuff on there because you've got an artist basically working from a backdrop at that point. But again, touchy subject. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out, especially how it plays out in regards to the tabletop RPG industry, because that's where it has the potential to be felt the most. And I think the first company that's going to be using a lot of AI art is going to be Wizards of the Coast because they are going to be able to afford to put some more development into it. Yeah, use it as an underlay and paint over it. Exactly. If an artist does that, I think that's perfectly fine. Um, because you've got that human element being added to it. It's not just somebody's taking this AI generated image and saying, "Look, I made this." Again, it's interesting. It's something to watch in the news, and it's going to be especially concerning if AI starts producing its own art unprompted. Because then I think we're heading towards then I think we're heading towards Skynet territory. Yeah, that's exactly all ones. I don't think it's going to be ever good enough to replace the human artist. At the very least, you're going to need people who can touch up and modify AI art because AI has a lot of problems with things like hands or mouths or faces or eyes. It doesn't really get all of that. So anything, yeah, the horror prompted art. Oh my god, that would be yeah, that would be funny. But there was actually, let me see if I can find it. There was actually an AI generated pizza commercial. Let me see if I can find it and link it in the chat. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. Let me go ahead and post this link in the chat because I think this is a good illustration. There, right there. That's a pizza commercial made by AI, and you can really tell the limitations of AI through that. Yeah, like the Fey folk from olden time. Yeah, it's actually that's actually a pretty good RPG hook. Like the world's been taken over by AI, and it creates like these androids, but it doesn't really quite get how to how to make a human look human. So there's just something that's off about them. Yes, there's a beer. The beer commercial is, yeah, the beer commercial is not as insane, I want to say. But yeah, it is weird. Renraku shut down on a larger scale. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, it would be that'd be a pretty cool RPG adventure. I think might have to do something with that. Yeah, it's a little bit more polished, but even still, with the beer commercial, it still has that weirdness to it, that uncanny valley, and AI for whatever reason just seems to have a real problem with people consuming food, consuming food and drinks. It just really it doesn't seem like it quite understands the act of eating and drinking or what's supposed to happen. But yeah, those two commercials there definitely some nightmare fuel. Although I'll be honest, I would eat at the pizza place. If that was a real pizza place, I would eat there because it sounds pretty awesome. Some smaller time content creators doing game for stream. I would be all for that. Again, my schedule is weird. I've got the day job every day except Monday and Tuesday. And then I'm basically not able to do anything in the evenings. So for me, it would have to be like mid mornings, afternoons, but I would be down for something like that. All right, Hobby Panda, you take it easy. Don't know if this is going to be a weekly thing. Like I said at the beginning, started when I started doing this. This may be a weekly thing. It may not. It just kind of depends on how I feel about it. But right now, I'm feeling good. Yeah, no, I'll see you. Definitely see you if I do another stream. If I do, it seems like Tuesday is probably going to be my streaming day. May reach out to a few others like Gaming with ADHD. Yeah, no, like I said, I'm down. If we can find a schedule that works for everybody, but also mostly me, then yeah, I'm down for that. I think it would be an absolute blast. Plus, it gives us some exposure, lets us support each other. Taco RPG Tuesday. There you go. I like it. I absolutely love it. Well, you take it easy, Hobby Panda. As far as me, it's about 2 o'clock, so I'm probably going to end the stream here in a minute or so. I do have to say, while it hasn't really been a productive day for painting, we didn't get very far. We didn't get we got the red done on this guy almost. We didn't get very far on the Thor, but that's okay. He's almost done anyway. But we had some good discussions. We had some good times. It was a nice little hangout. So yeah, all ones. I'll see you around. Like I said, look for me probably every Tuesday if I start to do streaming. Still gonna do the videos coming out every week though. Got another one coming out next week. Another one. I'm gonna try to go back to doing weekly videos instead of every other week. Just because I got so much stuff now to look at. But yeah, it's gonna be awesome. Later, chummer. All right, folks. For anybody who is still here, again, don't forget to hit that like button because that is going to boost the algorithm and boost the channel, and it's going to tell the algorithm that, hey, this guy's kind of cool. Maybe we should push his content to more people, which is going to enable me to do more stuff because then I'm going to have a better chance of becoming monetized, which I'm actually pretty close to getting there. I can buy more RPG stuff, more minis, and do some more cool things. And maybe, just maybe, hit that YouTube dream of being able to do a channel full time. I don't think that's going to happen. It's probably not going to happen, but if it does, that would be phenomenal. So, anyway, yeah, like and subscribe, all of that good stuff. Going to try and put out a video every week. Probably going to do a stream mostly every week. We'll see what happens. But it was definitely a great stream. Lots of good discussions. Had a lot of fun. Made a couple new friends. Be looking out for some more Free League content. Cyborg review is coming. More in-depth videos of Blade Runner are going to be coming. Some more videos of Shadowrun in general, of course, is going to be coming. I'm going to actually try to do some actual mini painting videos as well with my new setup. I don't know how well that's going to work, but we'll see. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and leave it here, and I will see you all next time.